Hi, and welcome back. Powering through our little video series on how to use QuickBooks Online from a bookkeeper's perspective. And it really is the best thing for the client or for a business owner to be able to do this themselves. So this series today, we're going to talk about banking. Now, online accounting software has made looking after your finances so much easier with this little feature, but it can be a little bit tricky. It's quite easy to set up in the fact that you can add an account, which will take you to this screen here, and we'll choose one of the unmentionable big four, and you'll select either personal or business, and then you can it won't take you here, but it will take you to the screen of adding in your client login and your password, okay? And then it will come through. In this case, of course, we're just going to work with a dummy file, and we'll see that we've got two bank accounts set up, with the cash and equivalents and the credit card, which could be any bank account. So the beauty of bank feeds is that when you do any transaction through the bank, it brings it through to this small area here. Now, if you have been paid by a customer as per our sales invoice, you would have seen that we can match it straight to the payment. If we don't know who the customer is that's paid, we can do this little find, and obviously with the $1,800 amount, it's not going to match here, but this is a nice little way to find it. You do have to be really careful in this screen not to muck it up. Basically, and I know this from my own file, that it can be fairly easy just to click add and put it to either the wrong customer receipt, or you could be putting it to the wrong account. So you do have to be mindful of what you're doing, and you do have to think about it to some degree. So if you work through it, you're literally going to clear all the transactions in front of you, and you're going to give them, so as you can see, it's come up uncategorized expense. We're going to make it a category, put it into a category, which we might just jump over there for a second and have a look at that. If we go right click and open link in new tab, we can go over to another screen while the banking screen is open. So just going off course a little bit, the value of that is also to be able to open in a new link, come over here and look up certain things that might match your banking if you have any questions. For this exercise, we're going to go into a chart of accounts. Now, the chart of accounts is a lovely little accounting thing where first you'll have your assets, and you'll see here there's our bank that they've called cash and cash equivalents. Thank you very much, QuickBooks Online, for the sample file. And they also have some other business accounts in here as well. We won't get into that too much, except to say that if you do buy something very expensive, more than $20,000, you would be looking at putting it into one of these top categories here, which is furniture, fixtures, or what we call assets for the business. If you then took a loan out for that, you would enter it further down here as a loan, and you can see also credit card sits here. So that's a non-current liability, okay, for a loan. Long-term debt would be in there, and that gets paid off. But for the sake of the exercise, this is just an introduction. Mostly what we want to know here for lining up things in banking is what's in your income accounts. If you're doing a sales receipt, that's not from an invoice, cost of sales, or most expensive, importantly, your expenses. So you would work your way down and become very familiar with the different categories you can post your expenses to. in this way, we're going to come back here and it's restaurant. So we're assuming it's meals and entertainment. Now, we won't go into the bookkeeping thing about GST on that, but for the sake of the exercise, we'll say it's GST on non-capital. It's going to ask us if we want to make a default tax code to that. Yes, we do. And you could put in the restaurant name. We might say Hungry Jack's here, just for the sake of it, and we will click Add. So adding there means that it's gone over to another spot, which I'll show later, but it's also allocated it to an account. So it comes in here from your bank account and it needs allocating to these certain accounts. Here's another one, Supply Depot. So this one hasn't picked up a supplier, and you can click on here and find your list of suppliers. Let's scroll down to the bottom and see if anything matches. No, not really. So we will just pick out, go into customers. So you can see you've got your customers on one side and suppliers down, customers down further and suppliers. And we'll go to Lauracia's event space just for the sake of the exercise. And here we can click and find out what expenses we're going to put this to. So we might give this expense to equipment rental. Again, we will have GST. Now you can actually set up your chart of accounts with the default tax code. So up here you can have that already set, so it's easier when you come to enter it into the bank feeds, and you simply press Add and it goes through to the next area. Okay, so that's that. Keep going through that until it's all cleared. And the beauty about that is that we can then go up to the cogwheel, go to Reconcile, and we'll say, yes, let's do it. Let's look at cash and equivalents. Let's say that the ending balance is 2,500 and the ending date is today, the 6th of the 7th, 2017. And we'll say, we'll start reconciling. What we'll find is, and what it's not going to show me, is that usually whatever's come through bank feeds will actually already be highlighted. There's the two we did there. So it's already ticked. Now, if you have done bank feeds really well and not added any entry, so if you have taken up everything that's come in and out of the bank through bank feeds and not entered it as an expense or receipted as a sales receipt separately, it will be in here. If you have done that and it's a double up, then it won't be ticked. So when you come in here, you would be expecting to see the whole lot ticked, and the amount would correspond with your bank statement. Okay, so usually by the end of the month, on the 30th or the 31st of every month, you would line up what's the balance of your bank statement or your bank transactions, and you would come in here and you would do your double check that this is correct. In this instance, it's not, so we won't click Reconcile, but it's a good place to know that this is where they come to, and that's a really good practice to do, is to keep this bank reconciled and your credit card as well, and to keep your banking clear, because a build-up of this means like a long time of sitting there going through all those transactions. Okay, so we've had our banking, which has crossed us over to our chart of accounts. It's also good, you can print this out and have this next to you when you're reconciling. So you just press print and the list will come up and you can put it to your printer. Coming back over, the beauty of reconciling is that you know exactly that what's gone through the bank account matches what's in your accounting system. So when you go to your accountant with your or when you do your BAS at the end of the quarter, you know that you haven't missed anything. You know also that everything in your sales is right. So when you do go to that report, we'll go there now, all reports and you manage your accounts receivable and you look at your customer balance summary, you know, because it's reconciled, that these people really haven't paid. All right? Or you also know from looking at your report of, we'll go back. Going back to the reports and looking at your accounts payable, you know from looking at this, oh, I missed paying this invoice. Okay, so it's a really good double check with those reports to know that everything is up to date. All right, some other little tips and tricks, again, just to go over. If you add anything through here, after you've done your bank reconciliation, after you've done your bank feeds, if you add anything in here, it won't be taken up because it will come through as a double up. Okay. The only other thing you may do is if you spent your own cash on the business, you may want to create what we call a director's loan account, and that is in the as a liability, and we set it up as a credit card. Okay, so you will go new, and we would call it a cash and equivalents. No, we wouldn't. And we'll give it, and you'll see you've got the options here. So we'll just go back for a second. So you line it, here's your credit card here. So we'll go into this one. So you'll have credit card detail, and you'll call it a director's loan account. Now, in doing that, so we'll go back, set it up properly now that my eyes can see what it needs to see. Credit card, director's loans, and we'll leave that there. Now they don't have the code I want, so I won't give it a code now. Now, if you'd paid for the fuel instead of using your business card, say you'd left your business card at home, you would go fuel and you would pick that up here. Whoop. Let's save. And you would put it to director's loans, and there it's sitting ready to be used as a credit card, so to say. Our fuel expense, we'll put that to auto, fuel, and if you have more than one MV fuel, if you have more than one vehicle, it's always good to put the registration number so that you can track, and we'll put a default code in there as well, and we'll save that. So we've got fuel, we may have gone to BP, and $50, and that save and close will go through to your director's loan account, which here we go, we can reconcile that account by going down to we might just refresh the screen actually, just so that it picks up that change, and we'll come down. And director's loan is in there, and we'd really like the ending balance to, we know it's going to be $50 actually, so, and we're going to put it for today's date and start reconciling. Okay, so then we would tick that one and we go, yes, it's balanced. We know that there's $50 in there of your own money, and you might pay that back to the director's loan account, which you very well could pay it back. You get home, you go, oh, I better transfer that money back. I use some of my own money, and you would transfer it from your cash and equivalents or your bank account, and you would transfer it through to your director's loan account. But I don't want to overwhelm, so I won't go too far into that today. you save, and you tick there, and you can see it's an in and an out. And you reconcile, and it will, oh, and you'll finish now and say, absolutely, well, it's decided that we aren't right yet. Thanks, QuickBooks. We'll leave that for now. All right, so coming back to here, just to recap on what we've done, we've gone a few places. First of all, we always want to clear everything that's in the banking, and everything needs to have a place. So it's like doing a little tidy up around your house, putting things away in their rightful spot, because if you don't put it in their rightful spot, the accountant could have some problems at the end of the year. Let's just see what that looks like when you do put it in the right spot. So we'll go to All Reports, Business Overview, and you can do a profit and loss. And of course, it's going to give us dozens of different profit and losses, but this one will do it. Financial year to date. So we can actually see, if we go to cash accounting, we can see, and we might do last financial year just so that we have some more data to look at. Okay, so you can see here on a profit and loss, and I won't go into too much here, but you'll see that the sales that you've saved, and this is what's actually been received, the cash. Okay, and these are all, so there's our fuel account, there's all the how you allocate it and how it looks at the end of the day. So always we want to see income more than expenses. So this is a bit sad seeing net earnings of minus. We don't want to see that. But, and I'm not going to go into what a profit and loss looks like, but that's what it looks like when you apportion it to the right accounts. And that really does matter when you're looking at the costs in your business and you need to make some financial decisions, is to know that when you're in your banking, you have allocated it to the correct area. Okay? But that is banking and touching on reporting profit and loss. And that will conclude our series. If you would like to know anything more about QuickBooks Online, certainly QuickBooks Help Desk is fantastic. Find a bookkeeper who is a pro advisor, or you can phone us at Additional Business Concepts, and our web address is www.additionalbusinessconcepts.com.au, or you can phone us on 0417 032 135. Thank you so much for watching the series, and please let us know any feedback that you have or any questions about QuickBooks Online.